Hey Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. It is Sunday the 26th of August and I'm back with a quick update of what I've been up to this week. Hope everyone's had a great week. I've been stitching away. I finished my time and season sampler. I did a quick tutorial video on stitching on silk gauze, so I made a start on a piece for that, as well as I have picked up a mania piece to put a few more stitches in that piece. I'm going to show you. I'm going to start off with my time and season piece. I finished this up Thursday or Friday night, and I am in love. I don't know if you can see it fully in the picture. I'm going to get a little closer. I'm sorry I did not iron her and get her all presentable for you all. But this is one strand over 2 on 40 count mallow linen. The fabric was gifted to me by Mary, Stitcher211 on Instagram. And Mary, Donna D Squared, and Natasha Stitcherella, we all started this together not last month, in June. After leaving an awesome weekend with Mary, we stayed over and we bought some things and we left intending to start this as a stitch along together. And I have finished mine and I love it. I love the pomegranates at the bottom. I think I found a new favorite color, and it's this. The red of the pomegranates is actually just a deep red-orange. It's DMC 919. I use nothing but DMC on this fabric. Sorry, my words come out before my mind gets hold of them correctly. I stitched this using the called for DMC threads. Like I said, I'm just in love with it. So I have a piece being framed right now, and it is the Fragments in Time series. I think the first one that Beth came out with. And Beth is Summer House Stitch Works. I have that being framed now. And I got a call this week, and I was thinking, oh, it's come and pick it up, and it's no. Oh, by the way, did you want the year to show on the framing? Yeah. And so they made it right. It's going to take about a week longer. They've got to reorder the frame, but the young lady who was assisting me in the store that day, and I went to Hobby Lobby, if you remember, they framed Canaan's sampler that I showed you last week. And the young lady just talked and talked and talked, and not just to me, she was engaged with the other customers at the counter, and of course she's not paying attention fully to what she's doing with me. And what ended up happening, my frame was a little smaller than what it should have been. But as I said, the gentleman that called, that is over the framing department, must have caught that I actually had the year stitched below the border of the piece and wanted to know if I wanted that showing. And of course I did, and he made it right, and I just have to wait another week. So by the end of this week, I will have that piece framed, and I'm going to drop off time and season. So not sure how I want to frame it. I don't know whether I want maybe an oak colored frame. I love woods, so more than likely it's going to be a wood, but I'm not sure if I want to go cherry wood because of the reds in the piece, or even, you know, an oak. But I'll see when I get there. Kind of like a floss toss, I'm going to do a frame molding toss. So last night I did a quick tutorial. Once again, thanks for all the feedback that you guys have given me on the pin stitch video that I did last week. I had a lot of suggestions, questions about stitching on silk gauze. So after showing this piece last week, and this is Noah's Art by Kathy Barrett Designs, I decided to go ahead and give it a quick start and to show everyone, or just kind of give that tutorial to show everyone how to start on silk gauze. And after filming this tutorial, I stayed up last night till dark 30 and this is my start. So I made Instagram post last night, and all I had was the 5 animals, and now I have actually filled in some of the canopy that is behind them. Can you see that? So it's a giraffe, a rabbit, a horse, a lion, and a bird. And this piece does not call for silk gauze. I'm stitching it on silk gauze. So what's going to happen is, if you can see, the lion here has a mane. Well, I can't back stitch on that silk gauze. So he will not have the mane. And you've got some bees here, and of course they will not have their stingers. And their French knot eyes, well, I'm going to play around in the edges of my silk gauze and see how big those French knots are going to be, but I don't think I'm going to be able to stitch those either. But that's okay, because I'm modifying what the pattern suggests so that I can stitch it on silk gauze. So all the other stitches will be done just as they are. I've lost my word. Charted. All the other stitches are going to be done just as charted, but there is a little bit of back stitching around the lion's mouth as well as his mane, and the stingers on the bees. They're just not going to have stingers. They're just going to be bees. They'll be bumblebees. Anyway, so I worked on that last night. The night before that, I had finished Time and Season, so that would have been Thursday night. And I picked up a Mania start that I had made, and it was Caroline Behringer, Summer House Stitch Works. I bought this one after seeing Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche finish this up or work on this at a retreat in November of last year. And then when visiting Sassy Jack Stitchery earlier this year, I bought it, and the reason I bought it is just seeing the threads. I've shown this before, I've made Instagram posts. I just wish that you all could just touch and see in true light. I'm making a boggle of this, aren't I? To see those colors. They're wonderful. So this is my work from the other night. Oh, that's the back again. I'm stitching this on 32 count linen, hand dyed by Stephanie in Toasted Almond. And it should only take half of this. I think this is what, an eighth. And it's only going to take half of that to stitch that piece. I will say what I am learning by stitching with these wools, I love the color saturation of the actual fibers. They do seem to fray and fuzz more easily than the cotton does. It's not a big deal. It just means I use shorter lengths of thread. As you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. See how it's fraying here. It is also two, I don't know if you can see, but it's 2 plies of this, of wool that is spun or twisted together to make the thread. What I'm also finding is that as I'm stitching, they're becoming untwisted. So I'm having to drop the needle, meaning as I do a stitch and I'm behind my piece, I'm having to drop my needle like that and letting it twist back in on itself to keep that twist going. And you can see in the G here where it looks a little thicker here, right in here where it's looking a little thicker than these threads, how they're lying, and that's part of the reason why. Part of it's just the thickness of the linen threads, but part of it is that is where I was noticing that the thread was untwisting. So it was more like 2 threads instead of 2 twisted threads that I was stitching with. Does that make sense? So I may pull this out and restitch it, but overall I'm having a great time with it. Stitching with wool was something new to me. This is my first wool piece. So I'm learning something new. So if you have any suggestions for that, or maybe something you can tell by what I'm saying I may be doing something incorrectly, just post it down below, because I am interested to hear from you girls and guys what you've learned if you've stitched with wool. Also, this week I planned on tonight working on another whip that I started. I'm pretty sure this was prior to Mania, but this is Forever Young by Heartstring Samplery, and this is one of the pieces that Jacob picked out. And I loved it because of the fruit basket here. I love the saying, but I loved it for the fruit basket. And this is lyrics from a Bob Dylan song. And look at there. I don't know if any of you do that, but when I have a pattern, and I don't generally keep mine after I stitch them, if I have a friend that says, hey, you know, I'd like to have that, I'll say, stick a Post-it note in there, because chances are I'm going to forget you've asked for it. And so Donna put that note in there, so I'll pass it to her. I'm going to show you where I'm at. I basically have the bottom with the trees, and I've begun one of the trees here, but I'm a little over half, I'd say 2/3 of the way done with it. This is the called for fabric. It's the called for threads. They're overdyes. Love the way this looks, and I think that I can probably finish this by the end of September. I'm 100% sure I can if I focus on it. Because, where's that pattern again? As you can see, like I said, I've done the whole upper part, and so all I have to do, the most tedious thing, is going to be this basket of fruit, because it's going to be full coverage. But I should be able to do that. Wouldn't it be cool to have that done, framed on the wall when Jacob comes home to visit, which will be several months on the way? I think he'd love it. Speaking of Jacob, I get a lot of questions about Jacob, so thank y'all for loving my son. He is doing great. Just to kind of rehash for those that didn't know, my son is in the Air Force, the United States Air Force, and he is stationed in Italy. He has visited Venice. He has visited Lake Barsis. He is really wanting to go down into Africa, but they are unable to do that right now. He is just absolutely loving it. And to be 19 and away from home and responsible at this point to no one but himself, you know, there's no wife, there's no children, and just exploring the world and new cultures and learning. I did try to give him a call today. We usually call him right after church, and we didn't get him, which he'll give us a call later on this evening. I just hear in his voice how much he's maturing and changing. He does miss us as we miss him. There's always something that he needs from home, and of course I can't send it along, kind of like ordering a chart. This past package we sent, he had asked for a pair of his shoes because he loves a shoe, so he asked for a pair of shoes, and he wears a size 15, so you know you can't put those in a regular box. So we got a box and we filled it with just things from home and cards from his sisters and relatives and things that we think maybe he can't get there, little items that he loves to snack on, that kind of thing. And so he really loves getting those things from home. Last week he sent a picture to us, and it was a card that all of us had signed and sent to him, and he had put it up on his little dresser there in his room, and sent us that picture to tell us that he loved us too. He's just a great kid, and I'm not just saying that because he's mine. Well, maybe I am, but I'm just so excited for his future, as I am for my girls as well, just to see. My daughter that is staying here, she is married to a U.S. Marine, and he is stationed in California. She came home in December, and he was to leave out. Well, that has been canceled, so she will be here with me for less than a month. We have less than a month left, and she will be going back out to California. So I will only have Drew, which is my son-in-law, my oldest daughter Jordan, here with me come a couple months. So we have a family gathering to plan, and Chelsea's already told us she wants a low country boil. Well, it's getting close to, you don't eat shrimp that in months that end in ER. So this is September. The shrimp festival is going to be at the coast, I think, in 2 weeks. I'm hoping I can get out of work in time that Saturday to go to that festival. But anyway, and get some fresh shrimp right off the boats. They pull right up to the dock, and you can get them there at the festival. We love it. But so we're going to plan that gathering with family and the Low Country Bowl, and it's always a great time. Easy cleanup. Cook in the backyard, throw tables out, throw crepe paper out, dump it on the table. Everyone eats with their hands. Everyone gets messy. We love it. So, what else? Vacation's still coming up. I'm making plans for that. I've already, gotten a couple new outfits and bought some things to take. Some new beach chairs. Ours had worn out. And it's amazing when you start going through your things. You don't have children anymore to drag along, so all the blow-up toys and the floaties and all the things you have to take along with kids. Big containers for snacks and foods, so you don't have to eat out all the time. We don't have to take any of that. But a lot of our things had dry rotted or just had gotten worn with age and needed replacing. So we've been doing that the past couple of weeks. And that's been really fun. I got a hat. I don't go to the beach much. I'm very pale skinned, so I have a tendency to go from electric white to lobster red really quickly. So we got an umbrella this time, and I got a hat, and the back brim of the hat was missing, and I thought, why in the world is the back brim of this hat missing? And then I realized it is for sitting in a beach chair, so that when you lean back into your beach chair, it's not bending the brim of the hat. So I got that, and just various other things. Just excited. So looking forward to that. We're going to be going, I don't think I've mentioned it, or maybe I have, we're going to be going down to Jekyll Island, Georgia, which we have been for years, going there on and off with the kids. It's not a tourist trap. It's very laid back. I think at one time the island itself was, there's a hotel there called the Jekyll Island Inn, and I think that at one time, I don't know whether the Vanderbilts owned the island or whether they've just vacationed there, but it's a very historic inn, and I've wanted to stay there for years. With kids, you couldn't afford it. Things are different now. I'm looking forward to it. We're also going to go down into Florida and visit St. Augustine. I've not been there since I was a child. History really excites me, and I look forward to visiting that place with adult eyes, and just spending time with my husband. I'm really, really looking forward to that. What else? Well, other than working on Caroline Behringer and my heartstring sampler this week, those are going to be ones that I take with me when I finally go on vacation. And I was just curious, when you all go on vacation, or I always pack a bag of Lori goodies. Do you guys do that too? And what I mean by that, there's always a cross-stitch pattern, a large one, on a larger count linen that I can stitch in the car. There's always a smaller one. There's always a magazine or cookbook that I can look through on the drive. There's always a book to read. Those things are always in my bag. I always have a notebook, because I've already jotted out places that I want to visit on my trip down or home from wherever we're going. So I have the addresses and the phone numbers and the times they're open, so that we don't go on a Wednesday and they're closed on a Wednesday. So I've got all that listed down in a notebook. And do you guys do that too? And is there something that you do that I might benefit from taking as well? So just let me know your thoughts on that. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great week. Get lots of stitching done. Get lots of rest, and I hope it's cooling down for everyone out there. It is cooling a little here. I can smell the fall in the air, and I'm getting excited. But But until next time, have a great week, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.